What's up, guys? It's Russo with Backdoor Fantasy Sports. I'm running solo today. We're going to be talking about the NBA slate on Prize Picks and Underdog. We got Flex Friday on Prize Picks. We have some discounted plays on Underdog. I've got two plays for you. Jordy was unavailable today, unfortunately, but we're still going to rock this out. I wanted to make sure you guys had at least a couple of picks for Flex Friday and to pair with this discounted play on Underdog. I took the Anthony Edwards discount on Underdog at 23.5 points. I like that better than the Jokic play. They're both solid plays, to be honest, but Edwards has just been such a beast. I'd rather go with his points personally, but go with whichever one you like. They're both great picks. Before I break down these picks, though, if you haven't signed up for Prize Picks or Underdog, for Prize Picks, use my code or use the code here to my left. We're still trying to get a deal with Prize Picks. They won't return our emails, so you know, if you guys don't mind, just throw this code in and you'll still get a deposit match up to $100. But Underdog, we're partnered with. So if you use code BACKDOOR when you're signing up for Underdog, you get a deposit match up to $250 and you'll get a discounted play in addition to the discounted plays that are already on the board. They give you an instant pick'em special just for signing up. So you have a couple of discounted plays to match with the plays we're putting out. And yeah, you'll get a deposit match up to $250. There's a link in the description of the video for both of these if you're interested in signing up. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on these plays before they get bumped or removed. And if you guys don't mind, do me a favor and like the video. I'm running solo here today. I would appreciate the support. And we've got some exciting stuff coming down the pipiline. I got to catch a flight here in just a few. So I'm going to try to get through this sort of quick. But yeah, I'm going to be heading out to meet up with Jordy. We'll have some bonus content. We're collaborating with another channel, and we're going to be doing a bunch of giveaways. So really excited to get all this stuff going here on this little mini vacation. Yeah, let's talk about these plays. So the plays that I like today, on Prize Picks, I like Obi Toppin Fantasy Score. This guy has just been awesome lately. So I knew right when I was starting the day, I was like, I want a play from Obi. But you know, at the same time, I wanted to see the lines first, and I don't think that they bumped the lines up too much, considering how great he's been playing. The dude is an athletic freak, and I love to see him emerging in these important games. So I'm taking his fantasy score on Prize Picks. We don't have the fantasy score on Underdog. So on Underdog, I'm taking his PRA at 16.5. So I'm going to take that full PRA at 16.5. And you can go with your gut. You know, if there's other plays you prefer, take those, fade the ones that I'm getting into. It's no problem. I know that my plays don't hit all the time. Man, Derek White yesterday totally let me down on the points and assists. So no hard feelings if you don't like the plays I'm getting into. But at least you can kind of see what we're getting into here and decide whether or not you want to take it. So yeah, fantasy score for Obi on Prize Picks, PRA on Underdog, and then I'm taking Naz Reid's rebounds here, 3.5. I wanted to kind of pair something with his points, but the dude's been shooting lights out, you know, and I think he can continue that. But I'm kind of like, you know, if I take like one of his points props and he just happens to not, because a lot of his damage has been beyond the arc. He's a great 3-point shooter. He's got a very quick release. I love that. But if for some reason he has a little bit of a cold night like Derek White did yesterday, I feel like, you know, the rebounds at 3.5 are a little bit more reliable in my opinion. So I'm taking the rebounds at 3.5. We're getting it on Prize Picks and Underdog at that line. So yeah, speaking of the recap, we had like a mixed bag yesterday. I don't totally remember what Jordy's plays did. I know Derek White let me down. He went like 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. He still came close. He wasn't, for how bad of a night he had. He didn't fall that short. I think he ended with like 15 PA. We took him at 21.5. And then Aaron Wiggins, man, I was sweating that one because I was just like the whole time, you know, it's like we were like through the first half and he had like nothing on the board, and I was sitting here hearing myself, you know, hearing myself talk in the video about how like this isn't the same as Sam Hauser, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get ripped a new one for this one. But thankfully he got it done. And it took, you know, him getting subbed in at the very end and cashing some free throws to get over that line, but thankfully it still hit. So hopefully you guys had a successful day yesterday. I know not all of our plays hit, but we're going to try to get back on track here. I like both of these plays today, so let's start breaking it down. Before we do, if you guys have not signed up for Daily Grind yet, they have this awesome DFS optimizer. We use it every day to vet plays and to seek out plays. I have it just on Obi Toppin's plays right now, but you can see it shows you the line on the platform that you have selected, and then it shows you every other platform's line and their odds, and so it's really great information there. And it's super helpful. They cover a lot of different sports, esports and baseball and NHL, soccer. They cover a lot, so it's a really killer tool. If you use code BACKDOOR, they're going to give you 25% off. Just go to dgfantasy.com and throw that code in. You'll get 25% off of any of the tools you want to add that first month. So, all right, let's talk about these plays. So we'll start with Obi. Take a look at this over under. This has been a killer series. My gosh, how about Jalen Brunson, man? Getting injured and getting back in there and still going for over 20 points. That dude, I think he should have been in consideration for MVP. I'm sure he probably was. I do think that SGA probably should have got it, but it's tough, man. How do you decide an MVP? Because if teams pull it together without their best player in, maybe Jokic did deserve it, because if Jokic was out, do you think the Nuggets would be even doing as good as they've done? They're probably done for the year. Sorry, Nuggets fans. Like, I got no room to talk. I'm a Suns fan, but I'm the last person to ever be like, oh, it's over. But they need to change things up because they're getting stomped right now. So we'll see. They do have the reigning MVP on their team, so let's see how they can get things rolling today. But for this particular game, the Knicks and the Pacers, we got a 222.5 over under with the Pacers favored by 7.5. Interesting, right? We'll see how that goes. Back to Indiana we go. So maybe that's a big part of it. We'll see how they do. Maybe they're considering the fact that Jalen Brunson might not be at 100%. He's had a day or two to rest that ankle or whatever was bothering him. So we'll see how it goes. But I like Obi in this game regardless. If we take a look at the head-to-head on Fantasy Score, he's gone over this 4 out of his last 5 matchups against them by significant margin. That one game on February 10th, he played 16.9 minutes and he didn't get it done. He only went for 12.4. Every other game, though, when he's getting 19 minutes or more, he's gone for 26 Fantasy Score or higher. You guys know me. I like to consider defense when I'm taking Fantasy Score. And this isn't like popping off the board here defensively, in my opinion. We can see he's gone for at least the last 3 games, at least a block or a steal. Let's see his turnovers. And the reason we consider that is because for the Fantasy Score option, you get 3 points for every block and 3 points for every steal. So that can stack up quick. And I personally just like Fantasy Score because when I'm watching the game, I like knowing that I'm attached to everything they're doing on offense and defense. And turnovers are involved too. So if you get a turnover for Fantasy Score, you lose a point for every turnover. He's been pretty clean about turnovers though. Those first 2 games, no turnovers. And I believe he's been playing decent minutes. Yeah, 19 plus. So anyways, let's get back on track here. Take a look at the PRA since we're taking that on Underdog too. And it kind of, it applies to the Fantasy Score option. So points allowed, 11th. Obviously the Knicks are tough. 11th in points allowed. So that's just a little bit above average. When it comes to rebounds allowed, they're first in the league. When it comes to, and that's because Josh Hart's probably grabbing everything. And then assists allowed, 9th. So I think he'll be able to still grab a couple boards. He's been getting a lot more involved here. It's been very heavy on the points side of things. But I want to take a little bit of everything. I'd hate to, since it's only at 16.5, go with your gut. If you'd rather just take his points, just take his points. I'm going to go the full PRA here. Because he is that guy who can randomly go off for, like you see here, 8 rebounds, 6 rebounds, 6 rebounds. This last outing where he went for 24 PRA, that was his lowest as far as rebounds and assists in a minute. Game before that, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Game before that, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. So you see why I like the PRA versus just the points, but take whatever you're comfortable with. It's Flex Friday, at least for Prize Picks. So yeah, we're going full fantasy score. So we have those blocks and steals attached. I've mentioned it before, but some of you might not know this. For fantasy score, also rebounds are 1.2 points. So you get a little bit of a bump there. Assists are 1.5 points. So it stacks up a little bit quicker than just the PRA. That's why it's bumped up a little bit higher. But I like it. If you watch the channel, I'm a pretty big fan of playing the fantasy score options. So yeah, feeling good about this. Let's take a look at what Daily Grind has to say. They have his fantasy score favored to go over just slightly, 50.95% odds to hit the over. Let's see, BetMGM has this at 19.8, so we're getting it at just a little bit cheaper on Prize Picks. I feel good about him going over this though, but you can take any of the plays you're comfortable with. They actually have his points, so his points are bumped up to 11. They have those favored to go under. Rebounds at 4, that's not bad. Everyone else is giving it to us at 4.5, so might want to take a look at that. I'm going full fantasy score though. And then we can take a look here at 16.5, where we're getting the PRA on Underdog. This is favored to go over at 50.87%. They have it at a -123. Looks like, you know, mixed emotions here. Caesars has this all the way up at a -131. BetMGM has it at a -115, which is like a 50-50 shot. So I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to take a play here of Obi. I'm glad we're actually getting his props now. Been a huge fan of this guy for a while, even back to when he was on the Knicks, because you'd see him get out there and the dude's just out there jamming it, you know, I mean, the dude went between the legs dunk in game 1 in the playoffs. So I love that energy. So feeling good about that. Let's talk about Naz Reid now. All right, so we have a 204.5 over under in this game. Timberwolves favored by 4. They look so good. My gosh, it started with just crushing my Suns. They've kept the momentum. They're still perfect on the year, postseason wise, I believe. And I think, like, I wish, you know, like, you long for a player on your team that plays like Anthony Edwards, like Jalen Brunson, like Donovan Mitchell. Like, where's that energy? How come it's so rare? You know what I mean? These guys that are just like, you can see that they want it on a different level. It's like a Kobe mentality or a Jordan mentality. I can't believe it's so rare, man. These guys are making millions of dollars, and you see guys out there just looking like they just, you know, they're kind of just, okay, I'm out here. The Knicks have more of that energy. You see that from Josh Hart. You see that from Dante DiVincenzo. You see that from Hartenstein. You know, like it's maybe it's something that's being cultivated on that team, you know. I know those guys have played ball together in college too, Dante and Hart and Jalen. So whatever they got going, man, every team wishes they had that. So good for them. All right, let's talk about these rebounds here. 3.5 is just so cheap. This is an EV plus play on Outlier as well. So in these last 2 games, against Denver, he went for 4 in game 1, 5 in game 2. He's just a really big dude, and that's corresponded with his minutes. You know, you can kind of see the graph of his actual rebounds, and you can see a little bit of correlation with his minutes. So I think he'll still get at least 20 minutes tonight, even with Gobert potentially being fully good to go now. I know he wasn't even injured, so it's just I think his child was being born. But over these last 5 games, Naz is averaging 21.3 minutes, but those first 2 games, you know, 23 or higher, only 1.8 fouls per game. It's so impressive when I see guys, excuse me, when I see guys playing such good defense and their fouls are not that high. I don't know if you saw that interview with Anthony Edwards talking to Kat, and Kat was talking about all these excuses why he's getting fouls, and then Ant is just like, you just need to stop getting so many fouls. Like, I love that mentality too. It's like, no, dude, just clean up your game. And you see guys out here doing it, playing great defense and not getting in foul trouble. So the Wolves are great on defense, very impressive. So anyways, let's take a look at this real quick. So over this 5-game stretch, he's averaging 6.2 rebound chances per game. And he's got that hustle too, where when he goes up for the ball, it's like he's going to win those 50-50 balls. You know what I mean? I'm very impressed with the energy on that team. The matchup, the Nuggets are 7th in rebounds allowed to centers. You wouldn't know it by watching the game though. Isn't it weird? Sorry, I'm kind of just rambling here, but isn't it weird how like guys like Jamal Murray can randomly go for, or like Jalen Suggs, like these little guys will randomly just go for like 8 or 9 boards, like in the middle of all this traffic and stuff. Anyways, I'm drifting here, but I feel great about this line at just 3.5. Wouldn't be surprised if it gets bumped to 4. We're taking it at 3.5 on both of these platforms. Here's what's interesting though. If we look at the optimizer, so they've got this, they had this favored to go over just a minute ago. Now it's favored to go under. So if you're uncomfortable with it, just fade it, guys. I'm taking it over 3.5. It's at a 50-50 shot pretty much. The optimizer has it at 50.04% odds to hit the under, -116. So maybe they're expecting heavy minutes for Rudy. Maybe they're expecting a blowout. I don't know. But I'm comfortable with Nas just grabbing 4 boards in this game. So I'm taking it on both platforms. If you guys are interested in checking out this app Outlier, it's killer. And it's funny because, you know, the optimizer has it favored just slightly to go under, and Outlier saying, hey, we like this, so we're going to give you an EV plus rating for this play. They have it at a -122 to go over. So if you guys want to check out this app Outlier, it's killer. It covers everything. We can look at injury reports. Let's take a look at that real quick, actually. Yeah, nothing significant. On the Nuggets side, we got KCP game time decision, Reggie Jackson game time decision, Jamal Murray game time decision. But yeah, this app covers everything. You can go head to head. You can put in certain players. Like if you know a guy's going to be out, like let's say Mike Conley's out, I can say, hey, what is Naz Reid doing when Mike Conley's out? And I can look at that. He doesn't hit his boards as much when Conley's out. I love these kind of details that Outlier gives us. So if you guys want to check this out, there's a link in the description of the video. You get a 7-day free trial. Just go through that link and give it a shot for 7 days, see how you like it. But I hope you guys are having a good start to your weekend. Very excited to do this collab with this other, it's a food channel. So it's going to be fun. We're going to just go do some food reviews. We're going to put some bonus content on our page, but the actual food review is going to be on their page. But we're going to do a giveaway to our Discord on their page as well. In the next day or so, I will put out a video. Jordy will probably be a part of that too, but we'll put out a video letting you know the details of the contest. But we're going to give away multiple, sort of memberships to our Discord over this next week or so. So very excited for that. I guess that covers just about everything. I told you about Outlier. Let's real quickly talk about the Discord. I love our community over here. Really good people. We all work together. We share all the plays we're getting into. You can kind of see here. Sorry, I'm loading slowly. Moose is already getting some golf plays in here. Moose is such a beast, man. We're so grateful to have that dude. He is just a maestro with this stuff, and he's been getting into golf, he's been getting into esports, he's been covering all sorts of stuff. He's got some plays out, but we all work together as a community. You can see there's that play that I just went Anthony Edwards on underdog, 23.5 points, and Obi Toppin with that PRA. I just did a little 2-man power play, and I just thought we'll do a little hedge bet, take advantage of that without, because you can't flex on those special plays. But yeah, we got MLB. We're covering all sorts of stuff in here. If you go through the link in the description to the Patreon on in there, it'll connect you to that's how you get into the Discord. Just make sure your email for Discord is the same that you're using on Patreon. Just make sure those are synced up, because it uses that email to give you access to our Discord. And just real quick, guys, I want to just talk about some of our sponsors, aka partners. Super thankful to be working with Sleeper. They're giving all of our viewers up to a $500 deposit match. So I say, if you can, save up some cash, before you take advantage of this, because for me, I want to take all 500 of that, because that's 500 in promo. If you use code BackdoorFS, so you got to throw that little FS on the end there. I believe if you just go through the link in the description of the video, it'll auto-populate that for you. But we are, like I said, I've got this little trip. We're going to be meeting up with Jordy, going to be doing some bonus content and stuff, getting prepared to start rolling out our fantasy football podcast. But as soon as we get back from this trip, we're going to be launching our Sleeper/Chalkboard segment. We're going to start covering both of those together. Since neither of them have a desktop app yet, it's been a little bit difficult for us to, figure out how we're going to do the videos, but we think we figured it out. So we're going to be covering that soon. So if you want to go sign up for Sleeper, use code BackdoorFS, you get a deposit match up to $500. And I believe that they're giving you a instant pick'em special, just like Underdog. We talked about Underdog. We talked about Daily Grind here, code Backdoor, 25% off. Chalkboard, how could I forget Chalkboard? We love Chalkboard. This is honestly my favorite platform, hands down. Right now, my favorite platform, because almost every pick you can adjust the alt lines. They're starting to experiment with that a little bit on Sleeper, but it's not like Chalkboard yet. Chalkboard, almost every play, it's not just like Sleeper's kind of like, hey, take this crazy alt line and we'll give you this extra payout. Like Chalkboard is like, you know, I could take Obi Toppin at 16.5 PRA. They'll say, hey, you want 17.5, you want 18.5, you want 21.5. Like and you can go the opposite way too. So the higher you go, it's going to give you a higher multiplier. And I got to tell you, the multipliers on Chalkboard are way more generous than any other platform. Like you can get up to like 5x for something that's not even that out of the ordinary. It's just like, hey, if this guy has what you would imagine to be, if he goes out and he plays his best, it's not like, oh, this guy's got to have a career night to get this multiplier. It's like, no, if he has like one of his better nights, you could get this massive multiplier on here. They added the shield play, so you don't have to hit every play. I could go on and on about Chalkboard. We love those guys over there. They're killing it. They're always hitting us up like, hey, what can we do? What do people want? And we're telling them, and they're working on those things. They're working on some of the things we asked them to implement. And anyways, use code BACKDOOR. You get 100% deposit match up to $100. And the plays are as low as $1, just like Sleeper, just like Underdog. So I love that because sometimes I don't want to, you know, sometimes I want to have like 7 or 8 slips and I don't want to drop $5 a pop, you know. So anyways, guys, definitely check out Chalkboard. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything you've done to help us grow this channel, be a part of our community. We love you guys. Shout out Skywalker, Boston Nick, Patty B, all of our people have been with us from the beginning. We really appreciate you guys, all of our new viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll catch you in the next video.